Law and Economics Lecture 3, Using Rationality to Design Efficient Laws. By Professor A.K. Enamul Haque.
That's a very important part. And that's why apparently what is irrational, it may become rational. But this is the beauty of the whole study. And this is the reason why we study law and economics. Because what we are looking at, we understand that human beings are rational given the information. Something is missing, given the information. But if I change the information, his behavior will also change. Agree or disagree?
Agree, sir.
Agree, sir.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So the laws are designed to push those handles. Try to tell information in such a way that, okay, this is the consequence of this, I better not do it. So you realize consequences also changes, and people are very smart. They said, okay, I need to regulate human behavior. Remember what is economics? End of the day, we said human beings are rational, but I as an economist can analyze his behavior, can trigger scenarios under which he will not do what he wanted to do. So I wanted to do something. I said, this is the best thing in my life. I wanted to do things. But then I changed my scenario. I changed the situation. And he said, oh, wait a minute. I better do it. Even though I don't like it. I don't like to submit the assignment tomorrow. Right? Is it tomorrow? Tomorrow. So I don't want to submit the assignment tomorrow. But then if the consequence is clear, I better submit it. So you realize that how, even though I don't like it, but I know that, sorry, I have to do it. So you realize many things, I do not want to take class today. But if I know the consequence that, okay, if I do not take the class, I have to do a makeup again, which means another time I have to give. So even though sometimes we are not in a mood to take classes, I said, no, better take that class because there is a cost to it. So I'm giving you now, these are opportunities. Have you heard about opportunity cost in your life?
Of course, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now you realize how economics is entering into your picture. That we start with rationality. We said human beings are all rational beings. What is the rationality actually means? That he has the ability to respond against consequences. That's the beauty of this study. So we said, okay, he has the ability to respond. So if he has the ability to respond, then I can switch. I can create triggering responses and it will change human behavior. It will change human behavior, and once I change it, I can control his behavior the way I want it. And that's exactly the rationality idea that, okay, we are saying people are irrational, but we also understand we need to change, create consequences of his action. That's what the whole, so when we design a law, we look into the idea of consequence. But now the question is, and let me give you a good example, that think about that I have a plot of land. This example is in the book. I have a plot of land where I'm producing rice. And my neighbor has a plot of land where he is using for his cows for grazing. Right? So he's grazing his cows in that land, and I'm using my land, I'm actually producing the rice, paddy. So the question is, the cow has ability to damage my crop, can come and eat my crop. Should I make a fence, or should I tell the owner of the cow, you control your animal? Which one is the right behavior?
Make fence, sir.
You
should make fence.
You should make fence. What do you think? Anybody else? So you have a choice. Choice is that either I can make a fence to protect my crop, or I can tell the cow owner that you should do this. So what should the action do? Where the law should stand? If I say design a law for that, what should be my law? Should I create a legal standard and say, no, if you have a cow, you should fence your animals, which is you use a pillar and make sure that it is tied? Or should I tell the crop owners that if you want to produce something, you better fence it.
Sir, we should tell the animal owner to tie their animals because it's their animal and it's their responsibility to see that if they are harming other crops or
Why,
not.
why it is their responsibility? This is what you are seeing, right? That is what I'm trying to bring in. That's what you see. But is it the best choice? So you have a thief going around your house. Why you fence your home?
To protect our belongings.
But same thing, if you have a crop field, why shouldn't you protect your crop? Animals are innocent animals. They have nothing against you.
Yes,
So now
maybe.
maybe. Now I'm giving you the solution. And I say, look, there's two choices to be done. I, as a farmer, can fence my field. It will cost me 10,000 taka. And he, as a owner of the cattle, can tie them, and it will cost him 100 taka. Which one is efficient?
The tying up, sir.
So now you realize that the choice is not the way you think. So the economic theory would say, look, I want to look into this. So I'm giving you the one thing that whatever is the law, in this course we'll say, look, there are laws, but many laws are not efficient. So can we make better laws? So realize that we are looking at the same consequences. Crops are protected. Cows are also enjoying their crop, the grazing ground. However, there is a switching. One is allowing the crop owner to fence his or her food field, and one is allowing the cow owner to tie. And we can say under certain circumstances, it is efficient. Another example is also in the book, very good examples in the book. There is a generator in your own house, and you run it when there is no electricity. And there's next door, let's say that there is a sick person who is mentally disturbed with the noise. So who should make the sacrifice? Should you stop generator? Or should you ask your neighbor to leave that place? What is the best way to do it? What is the most efficient solution? So what is the better solution? You have this scenario that you are running a generator. There is a next door neighbor who is sensitive to noise. And because of the noise, she gets irritated. She gets sick, hospitalized. So the question is, whose right should we protect? Your right to run a generator in your own house, or her right to live in a peaceful environment?
Sir, we can replace a generator with an IPS, sir, I think.
Why should I do it? There are stubborn people. There are stubborn people who say, no, I don't want to do it.
Sir, so in that case, we should make a law for them, sir.
We should make a law. These are common, and these are very good examples in your life. You'll find out there are choices, very difficult choices, and not all of them are efficient. For me to replace it is maybe too costly. For him to leave his or her house is also very costly. So you realize that it's not an easy solution, and this is when the legal, lawyers, when they talk about law, they say, this is the law, I want to implement it. That's their objective. Our job in this course is to think, which one is a better solution? So there are two solutions. One solution, there are quite a lot of solutions. One solution is the sick person should sell this house and go to another place. Another solution is the person who has a generator, he can replace it with a IPS. And third solution is the sick person can pay the generator owner that I will pay you half of the money. Why don't you replace it? Possible or not?
Yes, sir.
Possible, sir.
Possible. Which option is the most efficient? How do you judge it?
Third option.
So I'm giving you so now you realize you have to be innovative to create a solution. So when we say, in the last class we talk about it, that economics and law, we talk about how do we use efficient decision making, how do you make better laws? That is our target. So we'll find out scenarios like this would happen and say, wait a minute, the solution, current solution is not what I like. What is a better solution? Now there are some solutions which are obvious, right? Which is very obvious. One solution that we said everybody should wear the mask. And if you do not wear the mask, you will be punished. And still people do not wear the mask. Happens or not?
Yes, sir.
It's happened.
Very, very common. How do you change him? How do you change his mind? Say, no, I better wear the mask. So what is a better choice? So remember, economics actually is a beautiful subject if you understand economics properly. And when I say economics, I'm not saying you are always talking as an economist. I'm talking about it's a decision making. You can see things that, okay, what is a better choice? And how do I design efficient choices? Remember, economics is a science of efficient decision making, maximum welfare. These are all words. By changing what? Human behavior. So economics is actually dealing with human behavior. And we often say we want to change human behavior. And a lot of time human behavior changing is an age-old formula, which is create incentives, create punishment so that he or she realizes that there is a consequence of it. And if there is a consequence, I will really think about, as a rational person, shall I do it or shall I not do it? So for example, parents do. Parents tell you that don't do it. And you always judge the consequence of it. If I now do whatever my father said I should not do, there is a consequence. He will be unhappy. And if he or she is unhappy, do I care? If I care, then he said, no, I think, then you start creating an argument. No, I better go with him because he can see things and I don't. That's also an argument. And you create that argument because you realize the consequence of it. So your consequence is changing human behavior. Imagine our society long time ago. We said that there are Dalit people who are not untouchables. And we said, this family should not come and sit with me in my chair. And which we unfortunately, we still believe in many cases. So we said, no, you may be my driver, but you cannot sit with me in my chair and eat with me. Very common. These are all coming from untouchability logic. It's because society was built on untouchability, and many of us believe that untouchability is only among the Hindus, but not true. It is within every one of us. So we said, no, this person is untouchable, so he or she cannot eat with me, cannot sit with in my chair, and we don't tolerate it. I'm pretty sure it happens to every one of us in all of our families. It is very common. But the point is that these are all coming out of untouchability. Because these are the jobs supposed to be done by some group of people who are untouchable in the society. Religion has divided it. Now I'm saying, even though you belong to the same religion, but you are still untouchable because you cannot sit with me in my chair. So I was in China for a government visit. So I was very surprised. What I found out that I was visiting, and every time we were visiting, we had drivers, we had staff with us, and we have also minister was with us in a meeting. And in every chair, the person, people, drivers, and everyone was sitting with us and in the same dining room. For them, why not? I'm eating, you are eating. Why I should not eat with you, sitting with you? Consequence that people never thought about it because the society is built on that look, this is what we do. So even though I'm pretty sure many of us always think that Islam is a religion, we never discriminate. But you understand that untouchability is part of my life, part of our society, and we have not been able to overcome it. societies have changed it. Chinese are societies who have changed completely. Even though, for example, blacks and white Americans are so separate, they do not have very good friendship. But I went to Uncle Tom's cabin. I don't know whether you heard about Uncle Tom. Heard about Uncle Tom? Anyone? No. It was one of the black slaves fled America to the British Canada in order to survive slavery. So he decided to leave, fled basically, crossed the border to Canada. Canada won the British rule, and Europe eliminated slavery much earlier. Americans still had slavery. So he decided that in order to survive out of slavery, I should actually go to Canada. So he took a long decision and eventually came to Canada. So I went to the museum that they had, and we could see that the master and the slave, they were sharing the same house, same chair. Even though there was a divided society, but they still did not have the untouchability that is embedded in our society. I'm raising the point in your mind actually, because I don't think we can be a good human being unless we can get out of it. Our parents' generation could not do it. Even my generation, I could not do it. But we still believe there are people who are untouchable in our society, which is, and as long as you have that belief, you cannot comment, or at least you cannot call yourself a highly civilized society, because it's unacceptable. Why you differentiate human being based on what he does? Okay, and because somebody is working in my family, why she does not have the right to sit with me in a chair? Many society has eliminated it, and they have eliminated it. It has made the society much more tension-free society. Okay, and the tension is very clear. I often recognize it that many of our people that work with us never trust us. And how you see it, you realize that they leave your house without telling the truth. And your neighbors, another similar worker, will come and tell you, oh, she told me 5 months ago that she's leaving. So a person never trusted you because of this slavery that exists within our own society. And we've never thought about it. Now, if you want to remove that, will punishment help? Answer is no. Find an efficient way, efficient mechanism to do it. And our course will be talking about issues like this and say, okay, can we come up with solutions that look better? So realize that a lot of economics, normally we do not talk about morality. In this course, we are still saying that we do not want to talk about morality. But what we are trying to say is that, look, if you live in a society and if you want to maximize social welfare, certain human behavior must be contained, must be modified. And if you want to modify certain behavior, you need to provide right tool to do this, efficient way of doing this. There is inefficient way of doing it. What is happening right now in America? Right? See, Americans always thought that their society is so good, they don't need to talk about anybody. They can talk about everybody, but except them. So they have been pointing out which society has no freedom, which society has no deal, blah, blah. They have been criticizing everyone, never looked at them. So look at this black movement now. And the society is clearly, and COVID is also a good example. COVID is telling that anyone who is colored in American society has a significantly higher chances of dying compared to others, which means the society never looked at them. And the inefficient solution is what they are doing. What is the inefficient solution? That now there's a lot of casualty, lot of protest, lot of firing happening, lot of things are happening that is not acceptable. But these are happening because we did not look into the efficient solution. So economics job and the policymaker that we talk about it, we said, look, can we design better policies so that these consequences I can avoid? In other words, I can avoid certain consequences by making better rules. So remember, the target of my course, target of my discussion is not to talk about that this is the best law. Answer is, can I find even a better solution compared to what is happening? Do not believe on the idea that this right is given, so right cannot change. I can take away rights. Right? In our society, men had a right of multiple marriage. We have taken it away, said, no, 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 you don't have the right of multiple marriage. And irrespective of Muslim, Hindus, these are all there. If you look in the society, these were all there. Multiple marriage was part of the society. But we said, no, that right we have to change. So there are many rights we have changed. So whatever right you see, and if you say this is the right, answer is no, no, that is the lawyer's job. They will think about this is the right. They cannot change it. We are policymakers, we are designers of policy. We will think about, is there a better way of making society well off? And that is what we'll be looking in this particular course.
Please subscribe to this channel to receive updates on new videos.